What's going on, everybody? Hello and welcome to 1.5 Reviews. Today I'm looking at Campagnolo's record 12-speed in both rim and disc brakes. I'm going to run through all the major things you need to know about this group set, and there's a lot to cover, so let's do it. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is that Campagnolo has made a very simple 12-speed group set. There is no new free hub. You can use the same free hub you've been using since the 9-speed generation. They've just found room for another cog. There's no new bottom bracket. There's no new chainring options. There's only one rear derailleur size, and there's only two cassette sizes, 11 to 29, 11 to 32. That could be a bit controversial for those of you who like riding on corn cobs, but yeah, personally I'm okay with it. And what they've done with that 12th cog is kind of just slotted it in the middle, closed up the gaps, but given you a little bit of an increased range with those cassette options. The 12th cog doesn't radically change the ride experience, it's another cog. I will say though that it most certainly gives you more comfortable cadence options. I was always able to find, the cadence that I wanted. So no, not a revolutionary step forward, but certainly one that is very nice to ride on. Now, the second thing about this group set is that the mechanical shifting is still brilliant. The rear derailleur shifting is absurdly quick, whether it's up or down single gears or going for the full 3-gear sweep. It is the fastest group set on the market, bar none. Let me show you what I mean. Let me just show you how quick it is to move 3 cogs. There. And the other way. All it takes is one full press of either of the levers and you're moving 3 gears in no time at all. Let's do it again. 3 gears. 3 gears. No problems at all. Those triple shifts mean you can go 3, 6, or 9 gears in any direction unbelievably fast. Nothing else can do that. The front derailleur is not quite as amazing. It feels roughly the same as it did in the 11-speed generation. It's pretty good, but it doesn't quite match up to what Shimano's doing. Personally, I think Shimano is the best front derailleur shifting on the market. Campagnolo is fine, just not quite as great. Now, the third thing is that Campagnolo's legendary ergonomics are still present in the rim brake version. The way they've sculpted and shaped it, it just feels incredibly nice to hold in your hands. And that has been the case ever since 9-speed, which is the oldest group set I've ridden from Campagnolo. There's a lot of work been done with the brake and shift levers as well. The way they're shaped keeps them all within easy and comfortable access, and it all just gives you great control. I just love the way that their rim brake stuff feels in the hands. Disc brake ergonomics are compromised, unfortunately. Having to fit the mechanical shifting components and the hydraulic components in the same shifter means that they just haven't made it quite as nice. There's less room across the top of the hood and it kicks up quite suddenly, so just not quite as nice to hold with your hands. They're still the king of rim brake ergonomics though. Now, the fourth thing I want to talk about is braking, and Campagnolo has taken a big step forward in their rim brakes. There's more power, you feel like you have more modulation. The 11-speed generation was a little bit lackluster in terms of outright power. So yes, they have moved forwards in the 12-speed gen. They're still not quite up to the standard of Shimano's 9100, 8000, and 7000 brakes though. Those are amazing and still the best out there in my opinion. Disc brakes are a different story though. These Campagnolo Hydro brakes are phenomenal. There is so much power. There is very little slackness in the lever before you actually get the pad onto the disc. They're very quiet under brakes as well. Just a tiny amount of noise when you're slowing down from sort of not a very fast speed. So think about coming up to a red light or a roundabout and you're just sort of feathering the brakes a bit. They make a little bit of noise there, but they did not make any noise anywhere else. I also didn't notice any overheating. The rotor has so many air gaps to keep it cool, and it's very effective. In short, these are the best road hydraulic disc brakes I've used so far. And pretty much the only thing I haven't tried yet is SRAM's new AXS group sets. Now, number 5 is actually pricing. Campagnolo has, relatively speaking, brought their prices down compared to how they were previously. Whether it's the rim or the hydro disc, there's a gap of roughly $200 to maybe $400 or $500, depending on where you are in the world and where you're buying from, between Shimano's Dura-Ace and Campagnolo's Record. That's smaller than the gap has been in the past, and surprisingly small given the fact that Dura-Ace is now approaching 3 years old, and Campagnolo's Record 12 is still only a few months old. I really like that they've worked to bring the price down because it means that it opens it up to more potential customers. And Campy makes really nice stuff. I want to see more people using it. Now, the sixth and final thing I want to talk about is that Campagnolo is still, and probably always will be, a less convenient group set to own. I have two bikes with Campagnolo's 11-speed, so I know what that's like. A lot of shops won't stock any spare parts for Campagnolo. If you're at a race or an event and you need to borrow spares off someone because some disaster has happened, there's just less likelihood that people will have it. Fewer people run Campagnolo in general. All of the perishable parts tend to be more expensive. Think chains, cassettes, brake pads, brake cables, gear cables. That stuff is more expensive every time you need to buy it. It is really great stuff. It is just less convenient to live with. And unless they flip the market share, I don't see that changing. And that about wraps it up, everyone. Campagnolo has come out with a surprisingly simple, a well-priced and a really excellent group set here. They've moved to the 12-speed generation in a very non-disruptive way. I can tell you that I've really enjoyed my time with the Record 12 group sets. I don't see them taking over Shimano with these new offerings, but I really like the direction that they're going with this. And that about does it. Thank you so much for joining me. I've got some links in the description below to other content I've made about the Campagnolo Record on La Velocita. Stick around and watch all the other videos. I've got heaps of nerdy stuff on my channel, and I will see you guys next time.